Hello everyone, in my previous video we have seen primary screening of industrially important microorganism wherein we have learned how to isolate an industrially important microorganism which will produce a commercial product, and that is called as natural isolate. That isolate which we obtain from primary screening is called as a natural isolate. Now the natural isolates usually produce commercially important products in a very low concentration, and therefore we have to make certain attempts to increase the productivity of that organism from the primary screening. So to increase the yields from that organism, we have to do the optimizing of the culture medium, or the growth conditions has to be optimized. But this approach, like optimizing the culture medium or growth condition, will be limited by the organism's maximum ability to synthesize the products. So to increase the product productivity in higher concentrations, or to increase the potential yield, the genome of the organism has to be modified. So strain improvement techniques are such techniques where we are going to use the genetic modification, where we are going to modify the genes of the organism. So here the continual genetic modification of the culture will happen, wherein the strain can be improved. So what is strain then? Say for example, if I take E. coli, it stands for Escherichia coli, where Escherichia is a genus and coli is a species. Now E. coli will have so many subgroups wherein they will show certain different characteristics. It will show one or more characteristics which will be distinguished from the other subgroups of the same species. That is called as a strain. So E. coli strain K12, so E. coli is same, the species is same, whereas the strain is going to differ. So like this, there are a lot of strains of E. coli which is usually used in industries to produce various products. Now what is strain improvement? It is the science and technology of manipulating and improving the microbial strains in order to enhance their metabolic capacity. So when I say that here we are going to manipulate the genome of the organism, where we are going to improve the strain of the organism to produce certain products, to enhance their metabolic capacity to produce products in higher quantities, and that is called as strain improvement. Now a strain which we are going to use in industry should have certain characteristics. So what are these characteristics? Is that it should have a rapid growth, it should be growing very rapidly when we put for fermentation, so that it will produce a maximum yield. It should be genetically stable. If its genetics is not stable, then the metabolic activity will change and the product will not be formed. Rather than that, any other unwanted product could have been formed. So it should be genetically stable. It should not be toxic to any human beings or animals, and the strain should be able to grow on a very cheap substance or waste materials that is being obtained from agricultures or various other industries. So it should be able to grow on a cheaper substance. Then it should eliminate, the strain should not produce any unwanted products which may interfere later in the downstreaming processing. Like when we are going to purify the product, at that time this unwanted product should not interfere with that process. If it interferes, then the purification process will become costlier, which may lead to the loss in the industry. And it should be able to improve the use of carbon and nitrogen source. So we put the carbon source and nitrogen source in the media, and our strain should be capable of utilizing it. Only if it utilizes the carbon and nitrogen source, it can produce the product. So therefore it should improve the use of carbon and nitrogen sources. The cultivation cost must be reduced so that the industry will not incur any loss, and it should have a shorter fermentation time. So these are the ideal characteristics of a strain that can be used in industries. Now, what is the purpose of strain improvement? First thing, it will improve the productivity of the organism. The product production will be increased. It will regulate the activity of the enzyme so that a particular product that is required will be produced. And when we do strain improvement, we are going to introduce new genetic properties in the organisms by doing recombinations or recombinant DNA technology or genetic engineering techniques. Now, these are some of the strain improvement techniques, that is recombination, mutagenesis, and genetic engineering. Let us look into recombination first. The genetic information from two genotypes can be brought together into a new genotype through genetic recombination. This is an effective means of increasing the genetic variability of the population. Bacteria do not go for sexual reproduction. However, they are capable of exchanging some genetic material, using certain process like conjugation, transduction, and transformation. So bacteria will undergo conjugation, transduction, and transformation, wherein their genetic variability can be increased, though they do not go for sexual reproduction. Apart from that, there are other techniques wherein we can do recombination, and that is called as protoplast fusion. Fungi undergo sexual reproduction. So during their sexual reproduction, the two strains of fungi, that is the plus strain of fungi and minus strain of fungi, will fuse with each other. So during their sexual reproduction, or when they undergo meiosis, during this time the genes will get modified, it will get exchanged. So fungi undergo sexual reproduction for genetic recombination. Now let us look into the conjugation process. Conjugation involves cell to cell contact, where the donor contacts the recipient with a filamentous protein structure called as sex pilus, which will draw the two cells close together. The donor copies all or a part of its plasmid or chromosomal DNA, and it will pass through the pilus to the recipient. In transduction, if we see, in transduction, a bacteriophage acts as a vector in transferring genes between the bacteria. You can see this is a bacteriophage which is going to transfer its gene into the bacteria. Now, if we see what is transformation, in transformation, a naked cellular DNA is taken from the surrounding medium, which then becomes incorporated into the cell. If you see into the neighboring cell, if there is a naked DNA, it gets incorporated into the cell. This is a very random process. All of this, the conjugation, transduction, and transformation, is a very random process wherein recombination is achieved. However, we can go for protoplast fusion which is an in vitro condition wherein the DNA, the recombination process, can be brought together. So protoplast fusion is a recombination technique where protoplast fusion is a technique wherein a recombination can take place. So here what happens is, we are going to take two cells. We are going to remove the cell wall of the two cells by an enzyme called as lysozyme. So to remove the cell wall of a bacteria, we use an enzyme lysozyme. If it is a fungi, then we use an enzyme chitinase or cellulase, wherein the cell wall will be broken down. So once the cell wall is broken down, what we get, the resultant, is called as a protoplast. It is nothing but a cytoplasm surrounded by a plasma membrane. So we take this protoplast and we treat it with polyethylene glycol, or we go for electrofusion or liposome techniques, wherein the protoplast will fuse. When we use polyethylene glycol, the plasma membrane of the two cells will fuse. So the cell fusion will take place, or plasmogamy will take place, wherein the nucleus will be present. So this is called as a dikaryotic cell, where two nucleuses are present in one cell now. Now this nucleus, the two nucleus, will undergo nuclear fusion, which is called as karyogamy, to get a somatic hybrid cell. Now this somatic hybrid cell is a recombinant cell. Now this is called as a strain improved. This strain is being improved now. So here the two cells were fused to improve the strain of the organism, which can be used in industries for the higher production of the product. Mutagenesis is another technique where strain improvement can be done. So mutations usually occur spontaneously in all the different types of living organisms. Mutations can also be induced artificially by using certain mutagenic agents. So spontaneous and induced mutants arise as a result of structural changes in the genome. So there are different types of mutation. If you see the genome mutations, if genome mutations may cause changes in the number of chromosomes. There is chromosome mutation. Chromosome mutation may change the order of the genes within the chromosome. Example is like inversion, duplication, or translocation. There is something called as gene or point mutations. So gene or point mutation may result from changes in the base sequence in the gene. So one of the base will be deleted, or one of the base will be added, or one of the base will be exchanged. So like this, gene or point mutations will occur. So there are three different types of mutations, that is genome mutation, which will change the number of the chromosome itself. Sometimes the chromosome number will increase, sometimes the chromosome number will decrease. Then you have chromosome mutation, wherein the change in the order of the genes will be there will be change in the order of the genes within the chromosome. Gene or point mutation will result in the change in the base sequence in a gene. Apart from this, we have two different types of mutation, that is spontaneous mutations and induced mutations. Spontaneous mutations rates are very low in the bacterial genera. Um, Here in the spontaneous mutations means the bacteria will undergo mutations without inducing it. So it is very natural. That is why it's called as spontaneous mutations. Whereas induced mutations are usually induced by using certain mutagens, like there are physical mutagens and chemical mutagens. Physical mutagens include UV rays, gamma rays, and X-ray radiation. There are certain chemical mutagens as well, like ethane, methane, sulfonate, nitrosomethyl guanidine, nitrous acid, and acridine mustard. So like this, there are chemical mutagens as well. So mutagenesis can also be induced using transposons, which are delivered by a suitable vector. So these transposons will produce insertion mutants whose normal nucleotide sequence is usually interrupted by the transposon sequence. So transposon also helps in inducing the mutations. There are certain examples wherein mutagenesis has been used to improve the strain, like the penicillium organism is used in penicillin production. Now they used to produce a pigment, yellow color pigment, no caused by a uh, chrysogenin. A pigment is called as chrysogenin. Now, the chrysogenin is a yellow pigment that is produced by Penicillium chrysogenum. So, by doing this mutations, they have been successfully able to remove the yellow pigment that is being produced in penicillin production. So, the yellow pigment was removed by mutagenesis techniques in Penicillium chrysogenum. So mutagenesis and recombinations, the techniques that we studied is very, very random. So usually nowadays everybody goes for directed mutagenesis. The methods of mutagenesis that we discussed till now, they are completely undirected. We don't know, they are very spontaneous. We don't know where in the gene where the mutation is going to take place. So therefore we go for directed mutagenesis. The development of gene technology has led to this directed mutagenesis, wherein we go for genetic engineering techniques to modify the microorganisms or to improve the strain of the microorganisms. Over the last 20 years, the development of recombinant technology achieved through genetic engineering has had a major impact on industrial microbiology. Here we are going to use modern recombinant technology, which wherein we are going to modify the specific gene in the microorganism to improve the strain of the organism, which can be used to increase the product yield. So genetic engineering procedures will allow totally new properties to be added to the capabilities of industrial microorganisms. Microorganisms may be manipulated to synthesize and often excrete enhanced ranges of enzymes, which may facilitate the production of novel compounds. A very new compounds are allow the utilization of cheaper substances during the fermentation process. So therefore we go for genetic engineering technique. As I told you, in genetic engineering techniques, a specific genes can be modified. So microorganisms are manipulated here to synthesize new compounds or to utilize the cheaper substances, so that the industry can have a good profit. That is all about the strain improvement methods. If you have any doubts, you can put it in the comment section. In our next video, we will look into the fermentation media. Thank you all.